Well, I think it's a really dramatic stimulus and probably adds 0.5% to 1% to U.S. GDP. On a more important level, it shows that perhaps from a governmental point of view that we can do business together. And I think there's a need to reestablish confidence generally between the business community and the political system. And this is a good start.
How healthy do you think the American economy is going into 2011? And specifically, do you think we need the quantitative easing, the money that is being pumped into the system by the Fed? Or is the economy, to borrow Mr. Bernanke's phrase from a couple of weeks ago on 60 Minutes, self-sustaining at this point?
I think the economy really has pretty decent momentum, whether it's a 2.5% growth. We can see this through most of our portfolio companies, and I think most people in the business community would feel that we have forward momentum.
So you're pretty optimistic heading into 2011. I mean, I don't mean to put words in your mouth, but I kind of do.
Well, I think you're good at putting words into one's mouth, but I think we have forward momentum. I think the quantitative easing is right on the margin as to whether that's really needed. One could make the argument that that was marginally a good thing before you had this almost $1 trillion of stimulus.
Coming from the fiscal side.
From the fiscal side. But now that we've got the fiscal side, it makes the quantitative easing just a little bit more marginal than it was.
We watched a bullet point underneath you while you were talking, which said that you believe this tax compromise will boost economic activity by 0.5 to 1%. Is that accurate? And if so, how do you figure that's going to happen?
Well, I think you're going to have more people with more money. Without taxes going up, you're going to have a variety of different incentives with cutting payroll taxes. There are other incentives in this package, and I think that the economy will respond positively to that.
Because the Congressional Budget Office estimates it will increase employment by no more than 0.1%. And we are asking Americans to take on $850 billion more in debt so that rich people can continue to pay lower taxes.
Well, this is one of these situations where there is no perfect answer. You have now a very large amount of fiscal stimulus. Ultimately, nobody likes the debt. You can take either side of that argument. I don't really want more debt, but the faster the economy grows, the more taxes people will ultimately be paying because everybody's earnings will be higher.
A year from now.
Over time, they'll be...
I'm sorry,
yes,
I didn't mean to
what
interrupt.
About a year from now?
I didn't mean to interrupt. I thought you'd finish that sentence. A year from now, if the economy isn't growing, will you admit you were wrong?
If the economy is in trouble...
If it isn't growing,
will you admit you were wrong?
If it doesn't respond, will you admit you were wrong?
I'm always comfortable admitting I'm wrong. I don't have a problem with that.
Out of necessity.
Yes, well, in our world, when we believe something, we actually make investments based on that, and so it's more than just chatter.
I don't know that you are watching for 2011 that might surprise us. What is something that's out there on the horizon that you're thinking about that I might not know?
Well, it's tough to know exactly what you know, but I think that one of the interesting things is the real estate business, and in the commercial area, we're now seeing signs of pickup, particularly in certain types of cities. There's going to be a lot of maturities coming due, some of which will be restructured and some of which will present real opportunities.
Which cities and which segments of commercial real estate are we talking about here?
Well, I think you're already seeing the mall business pick up at retail. Even the strip shopping centers are picking up. Basically, office buildings do best in locations on water. So if you take the coasts in terms of New York, Washington, even some other areas on the West Coast, you've seen a pretty goodly increase in the value of office. You're going to start seeing an increase in terms of industrial as the economy continues to develop. And so people who have been extremely negative on real estate, if it's repriced, you'll start seeing higher lease rates. You won't be seeing yet construction. So that will keep that sector of employment down. But if you don't have construction and you start having demand, for example, hotels, I think will be a surprise on the upside. We're seeing basically in the United States, South America, and Asia, very strong demand for hotels.
Let me end on a question about the U.S. equity market. Do you think at current levels that it is undervalued heading into 2011?
I'm not an equity analyst. I think there'll be a modest outperformance in the economy, which should lead to a little better equity market than people were thinking.
Mr. Schwarzman, good luck next year.